Trauma bonds, got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal game. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you were just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.
Welcome back to another episode of Hoop MCs. This is episode 12, brought to you by myself, Hasan, and my co-host, Naseem. What is up, my friend?
What is up, my guy? How are you this week?
Good. It was kind of depressing.
Missing work.
What's that? Oh, missing work? We had to put you on that load management plan.
Yeah, just doing my best Kawhi Leonard impression.
Yeah. But, what's new with the NBA?
Well, I guess I owe Steph Curry an apology if we're going to start off with what's new. After 2 or 3 games, I said he couldn't carry a team and that he was dog water. Okay, I didn't actually say he was dog water, by the way. But I said he couldn't carry a team, and he went ahead and just exploded for 61 and then, 32 last night or something? So
yeah. Who did they play last night?
Timberwolves, I think.
T-Wolves? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. See, here's the thing. He went off. I'm giving him credit, you know? Mm-hmm. If Harden does that, we'd be all on his junk if he did that shit too. Mm-hmm. But here's my thing. It's literally funny how we forgive or we change the narrative so quickly as soon as something, something happens, like essentially a reverse in what we were talking about. I still don't think the Warriors are going to make playoffs just because, even though it's been a small sample size, I don't have faith in them.
No, I still don't think they're a good team at all. I mean, let me be clear. I still don't think Steph is going to carry them to the playoffs, but I mean, I was kind of bashing on him more than he deserved. He's still a great player, and we all know that. So
and he's a great player. Like, honestly, probably he's going to go down as the best point guard to play the game, or right next to Magic Johnson. But in terms of carrying the load, I don't think he'll ever show that. I don't think we'll ever see that. And honestly, it's hard for like a 6'2", 6'3", whatever his height is and his weight. It's hard for a player of his size to do that.
You see it with like LeBron. I use him a lot because he's obviously like the hardest carry. I mean, if his shot's not falling or if he's having an off night, I mean, he just uses his physical strength to take over the game, really. Like, you see him just bully his way into the basket.
Yeah, that's true. But players like LeBron and players like Harden, those guys are exceptions. Like, it's very rare to find guys like that in this league. That isn't to say that you don't have superstars who need supporting players, just like Curry, AD. Those guys are not floor, like, they're not like a high floor type of player. They're ceiling raisers.
They're
same
superstars, but they're not taking their team anywhere super far. And I know Curry has 3 rings, 2 of them were KD. Let's clear that up. And I mean, that first ring, they were 73-9. He did not do that alone. He had a great team that year.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's still a great player. I'm making that very clear. I'm not hating on him.
And my stance on Curry for the longest has been he's going to go down as the greatest player to play the game who doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. Like, you're not going to get a different Curry. Like, you won't see a drop-off if he doesn't have the ball in his hands versus playing with the ball. Like, he's still going to be amazing regardless. Whereas you have guys like LeBron who need the ball in his hands. Harden needs the ball in his hands. Those type of guys, they are like floor raisers. They can carry your team up to a certain point by themselves. Yeah. But at the same time, they can't play off the ball and still be effective.
Yeah, Steph Curry off the ball is one of the greatest things like you can watch. He literally just runs back and forth, and especially like whenever he's running back and forth on the baseline, and all he gets is like half a foot of open space in the corner, and he just drains it in your face. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So he's definitely the best off-ball player we've ever seen, and I mean that's what makes him so special, honestly.
Yeah, I mean guys like Kobe, MJ, those are the guys that while you have that argument that they were kind of like ball hogs in the sense that they just had a lot of volume, they still didn't need the ball. They didn't need to bring the ball up in order to get into some sort of rhythm to produce.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like Kobe Bryant is still a ball hog, even though he played off the ball. Yeah. But Curry, there's no argument to be made that Curry is a ball hog. There just isn't an argument to be made.
No, and I mean, he's not running ISOs. I honestly, like, I try to think of a time when he runs ISOs, and I just can't, unless he has a big man on him, like Rudy Gobert. But he's not an ISO player. He moves a lot. He does that play where he just circles around a screen, comes off, and lets it fly. And I mean, he's just passing back and forth, getting that like half foot of open space and letting it fly, which is perfect for him.
That's true. One thing that I would like to mention about the Warriors that I'm excited is the return of Draymond Green, because I hate that guy.
Man, that guy.
He had 1 point, I think, the other day.
I saw a picture of him and Curry after he dropped 62, and it was like these two combined for 63 points. This guy really put up a 1-pointer.
Yeah, I mean, man, it feels so good to talk crap about that guy and to not be wrong.
I don't think anyone was ever wrong to bash on him. I still never. Okay. No, I don't think he was a great player. He was good at 1 point, but he was overrated as hell.
Here's my thing. He was you could probably find advanced stats to show like how valuable he is and all this crap, but none of that matters because we know the truth. He was playing with literally the greatest offensive player, like duo of offensive players, and Stephen Clay. Your job is going to be easy.
Yeah, then he ran away the greatest scorer, KD.
Yeah, exactly. This guy literally had the easiest job in the history of the world. But it just feels nice, man. Great defensive player, though. Great defensive player.
But, I don't know. He got yammed on by Harden.
Yeah, that's true. No, but in all seriousness, let's switch away from the Warriors for a second. In other news, the Rockets played yesterday. The second game with essentially a full roster, pretty much. Like we got to see John Wall and Harden together. What do you think of them?
I mean, it didn't Harden. I honestly only watched the fourth quarter, but up until then, wasn't Harden having like a pretty rough shooting night? From what I
didn't watch essentially any of the game, but I kept tuning in, and yeah, he was like 5 of 17.
Yeah,
he was garbage.
He was having one of those Harden games, which I mean, if you're a Rockets fan, you've become accustomed to. It's gonna happen. John Wall still looks great in my opinion. I don't like that Boogie just got ejected for literally nothing. Like I saw it on Twitter. I mean, he complained about not getting a call, and he got ejected for that.
I actually saw that call happen. Ironically, like that was one of the few parts of the game that I caught.
Yeah.
And he just like essentially got past the man. He felt like there was contact. He made the bucket, and then he just yelled in the direction of the ref. Like he turned his head while he was running back the other side of the court. And I don't know, man. Like Draymond Green.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I keep coming back to him, but he gets away with that literally all the time.
Yeah, it's so bullshit. Honestly, excuse my language for those who are 18 and under, which I highly doubt. But anyways, Draymond Green gets away with so much annoying stuff, like it's unfair. And then Boogie literally just complains about a foul, which every single NBA player does.
Yeah.
For not getting the whistle, and he gets ejected for that. Like, I just think it's bullcrap.
Some people are just naturally loud, and I think Draymond Green is one of those players. But I think he gets away with that because they probably talk, like the Golden State Warriors coaching and players or whatever, probably told the refs, like, hey, this guy just naturally speaks loud. Don't get offended.
His breath definitely smells like Cheeto Puffs, dude, 100%.
Oh, yeah, dude, probably worse than Cheeto Puffs.
Yeah, he literally, I forgot who told me it, but after they said it, he never has his mouth closed. Like, even if he's not talking, his mouth is just always open.
I was literally thinking while you were making that statement, like, should I title this podcast, Draymond Green has Cheeto Puff breath?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty professional title.
All right, yeah. I'll probably something along those lines. But yeah, no, the Rockets. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of them. They only had like 2 games essentially. Yeah. Like they're 1-1. Tim Hardaway Jr. had the game of his life. I don't know if you saw his stat line.
No, when I tuned in, he literally didn't miss a bucket. I swear I thought I was watching Michael Jordan in his prime, dude.
This guy shot 10 threes and made 8 of them.
He turned into Ray Allen for a night, man. It always happens against the Rockets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an anomaly game. Like, Luka even played very well. Like, he went 12 of 25. He was like, amazing still, yeah. Luka. And then Tim Hardaway, the fact that you had a secondary, like a guy off the bench who couldn't miss, he dropped 30 points.
Yeah.
You can't really assess the team's performance, and they shot like crap too. The Rockets, like everything that was not supposed to happen, happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I get my hopes up for any season, I wait a month to see how things are progressing and how it's actually looking. Because I mean, like you said, we're 2 weeks into the season, so it's really still too early to tell. I mean, based off of everything what me and you are saying, it's just a bunch of overreactions. Like whenever we were talking about Steph being garbage, and then now he's great. Like we don't know. It's literally 2 weeks.
I mean, that's what this is about, man. It's like a bunch of overreactions and then underreactions, and then you just give it time, and things kind of normalize.
Yeah.
But one of the last things I want to talk about is power rankings. In terms of your opinion, who do you think is the most impressive team so far?
I mean, I always want to go to the Nets, but I was actually watching that game with the Wizards.
They're doing poorly.
Yeah, they fell off after their hot start. It's hard to say, honestly, because the 2 top teams right now are the 76ers and the Suns. But I mean, those aren't teams I'm sold on.
In the West, you got like 3 teams, right? You got the Lakers, Suns, and someone else.
I thought the Suns had the best record. If the Lakers are tied with them, then I would just put
They're
Lakers
tied. Yeah, they're tied.
Yeah, Lakers number 1, just because I'm not sold on the 76ers and Suns, honestly.
Yeah. The thing is, the Sixers, I think they've had a pretty easy schedule. I don't think they've beat anybody who's like, I don't know, from like last year, I guess, who was a contender. I don't think they beat anybody this year that I can remember.
I honestly don't even know who they've played. I just know Tobias Harris is popping off for them. Like he's actually doing really well.
Yeah, he got like Player of the Week honors or something like that. What did you think of me naming Joel Embiid as number 1?
I was going to bring that up, by the way. I hate your list. I'm not even going to lie to you. But
top 5. Hold on. The 5 players that I mentioned, let's leave ranking out of there. Do you think any of them don't deserve to be in there?
CP3 and Joel Embiid. Now
Come on, man.
Look, I understand your argument for CP3 being the leader and whatnot. But I mean, Devin Booker's playing much better than him, and they were.
Do you know how much? Do you know how many? Do you know how many points Devin Booker is averaging?
No, tell me.
Guess.
23.
Less, 21.
Okay, how much is CP3 averaging?
Garbage. His stats are terrible. But
exactly.
I know, but my argument there was look at where the Suns were last year and look where they're at now.
But you can't use that argument because they went 8-0 in the bubble without CP3. Like, they were looking really well.
They were looking good, but 8-0 is still a small sample size.
And what is it? 4-1 isn't a small sample size.
Well, obviously, like to come up with a list of MVP rankings after like 5-6 games doesn't mean anything. But I'm just saying, like, look at where the Sun. I know what you're saying. Like, basically, the Suns were literally the best team in the bubble, and that was the last sample size that we had of the regular season.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the totality of the Suns because pre-bubble, that's who the Suns really were. Like, that's a little bit more of an accurate a more accurate depiction of that team.
Because we don't know. I mean, they played well in the bubble, and now they're continuing to play well.
Okay. How about this? What was the Heat's record in the bubble?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, but my point is, if the Heat, I don't know what their record is, but the Heat finished, I think, number 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
And unless they were hot in the bubble, nobody had predicted essentially them going to the finals. I mean, I think the Heat just kind of underwhelmed in the regular season, and we kind of knew and in reality, they're actually a pretty strong team. Like, they matched up really well with those other teams. But on the other hand, the Suns, like, I get 8-0 is really impressive to go in the bubble, and I don't know what kind of competition they were facing with those teams, but still, like, you bring Chris Paul, everybody was high on the Suns after Chris Paul was added. So that's the reason for my list. Was he too high? Okay, I'll give you that.
Yes.
Now, go back to Joel Embiid. Why don't you like Joel Embiid?
Well, honestly, I can't really be the biggest judge on him because I haven't. I mean, me and you have just both admitted we haven't even paid attention to the Sixers. So, but I mean, he has them off to a hot start, so I can't argue against it.
This is so far, and obviously this is early, but he's averaging 25 and 13. His highest that he's ever averaged in a season was 27. I'm not saying that he's going to be close or surpass that, but at the same time, I'm looking at where the Nets are right now. He's obviously playing extremely well, and he's shooting also. Like, this is the most efficient season he's had. So
yeah. I liked your Sabonis inclusion because I didn't know he was playing that well. Would you say he was averaging 27, 11, and 7 or something?
Nah, not 27, but I think low 20s if I'm not mistaken. But
still, he's averaging great numbers.
Yeah, very great numbers, and the Pacers are tied for number 1.
Yeah. He's definitely getting underappreciated. Yeah.
But okay, so who, in your opinion, deserves to be number 1 before we wrap this up?
That's tough. I don't know. Like, I want to say Harden just because he's putting up the most crazy numbers, but I don't want to be biased either.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. Like, obviously, Harden is posting crazy numbers, but at the same time, you got to take into account winning as well. Yeah. And, I mean, I put Harden in there just because of the fact that he posted crazy numbers, and at the same time, his team was hurt, and he was playing good teams, though he was losing. That's why I put him in the top 5. But yeah, I don't know. There's no clear-cut favorite. I know what you're saying.
It's really hard to tell. We've had 6 games to judge off of, and but we haven't watched all the games yet. So it's like the more the season progresses, the more I start to watch games and I tune into other teams and see who's actually performing well and how the teams are playing. Yeah.
But I think you and I, the next time, probably in about 2 weeks, we'll revisit that topic and do one again. But yeah, I just figured it was an interesting topic to discuss. But
you had some again, I liked your Sabonis inclusion. I don't know if I agree with CP3. So you had your goods and your bads.
I had Trae Young in there, Harden, CP, and Embiid as well. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think you're being too hard on me. Outside of CP, I think CP pissed a good number of people. Well, not a good number of people, but it pissed you off and another guy in our comment section on IG off. But yeah.
So it wasn't just me. I'm glad.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll talk about that another day. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate you guys for listening as always. Thank you for coming back and just listening to me and Naseem talk about basketball. If there's something that interests you, or if you guys want us to talk about something, please just go ahead, mention it in the YouTube comments, our IG posts, or Twitter posts. Just let us know. And, you can always listen to us on Spotify and Apple, or watch our video that's recorded on YouTube as well. So why are you laughing?
Oh, no, I was waving.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw you waving as well. You look funny. You're like...
Yeah.
Okay. But, just keep staying tuned. We appreciate the love and support. Thank you, guys, and we will catch up with you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Take care. Later.
Peace. Later.
Trauma bonds, got close off of battle scars. Equal pain, so we think it's equal games. Same team, but it's different hearts. Same goals, but it's different shots. Thought we was winning the same. Turns out you were just running me game. Should've known, but I couldn't guess it. It's a damn shame.